Hello and welcome back to episode 34 of the Shakhtar Glory Challenge. Last time out, obviously, we had the game in the league against Zerka, and we also had the Champions League draw. Where, as you can see, if you haven't watched that previous episode, I do urge you to go back and watch it just to see the draw. We drew Real Madrid. At the time, we discussed it as essentially being, apart from one of the teams who was possibly a bit weaker, the team we possibly wanted, because they are struggling domestically this season. Obviously, they're in the second round of the Champions League, so they're doing something right. They've moved up to 4th since that. I think they were 7th or 8th at the time. So it's still not going to be, very easy. I think they are quite far back, but they've picked up the positions. But they're 18 points shy of Atletico Madrid, who actually sort of streaming away a little bit in the league, and Barcelona and Sevilla ahead of them by quite some distance. They're starting to break a little bit from the chasing pack themselves. But I mean, when you consider Barcelona are in it, they're second. I think Bayern are in a similar position to Atletico Madrid, really far ahead in their league, obviously. There was a lot of, and Juventus are doing really well in Italy. Napoli were there as well, doing really well. It was probably, despite the fact, obviously, we looked at their players and their squad, a very good squad, and obviously they're man for man. They're probably about it. They are better than us. But just before, I was having a little bit of a preview about their team, and there is some interesting team news. Obviously, their key player is Cristiano Ronaldo, but he is going to miss today's game. If I can find it, they haven't registered Marcelo. That's very strange. They play Grimaldo, I think it is, at left back. Yeah, they do, Grimaldo. But not to even register him is very strange. But yes, Gareth Bale is injured. Will miss today's game. He's out for 4 to 6 months, so he will miss the second leg as well. He'll miss the rest of the season. Probably going back into next season as well, by the looks of it. So that's a big loss for them. And yeah, Cristiano Ronaldo, he's out for 2 to 5 weeks. So he'll definitely miss today's game, and he may even miss the second leg. 2 to 5 weeks, he will miss the second leg, because it's only in about a week's time. The other game that's happening today, which we saw on the screen, is Juventus Porto. Obviously, Porto were in our group, so they're sort of pushing through still. They're into the next round. A tough game against Juventus. I don't expect them to come out of that. They're first in Serie A. I mean, that's unsurprising. Really, they're only 5 points clear of Napoli, who are still in the competition as well. But they are 10 points clear of third of Inter, and it's a bit of a chasing pack as well. But it's an interesting. There's a lot of big teams missing from the Champions League, but at the same time, there's a lot of big teams sort of still there, and a few of the big teams that are missing, like Atletico Madrid, are storming the La Liga. I don't think they've made it to the knockout. I'm not sure they've made it out of their group. Let's have a quick look. They got knocked out by Bayern, so no massive sort of shock, not shock, but shame in that. But 5-0 in one game. Okay, they were down to 10 men quite early on, and Müller, I've seen him. He is playing quite well this season. I had a little look at him just before off camera, but we'll sort of have a quick look at what we've done since that last game. I think we've only had one league game. Yeah, it was the Zerka game. We won 5-1. So we've since played Ilichevets in the league. 2-0 win. Similar kind of lineup. I brought in another young centre back from the under 21s, 23s. Kucha there. He went off quite about 60 minutes. Oh, bang on 60 minutes, in fact, because he had just played not long ago a youth game, so he was a bit tired. Just freshened him up a little bit. We did finish with a few players starting to struggle by the end, but as you can see, they didn't trouble us at all. We should have won by more than 2-0, but we weren't troubled. Brazilian duo up front, getting the goals. Rodrigo got an assist. Didn't get a great rating, and he hasn't done amazing since he came here, but we have mostly played him in that striker role. I think he is better suited to be an inside forward on the left, so we may have to tinker with our team a little bit and maybe switch the winger and the inside forward, because it's also with Konoplyanka. He isn't doing the job as a winger out there either. So, something to think about there. We may even introduce it at some point in this game. We'll have to see, but we'll jump into the Real Madrid game now. They're in excellent form. We're strong. Literally one drop game in that, which was the... What is that? Is it the cup game? I think it's the cup game. Oh, they're counting the the Champions League game as a loss, obviously, because we did win on penalties, but the actual game itself was a loss. Not much in it. As you can see there, Bayern have beaten Barcelona in the first leg. Must have been yesterday, yes. Man United beating Napoli 3-0, so some big results happening there. But I imagine Zidane is under a real bit of pressure in this game. You know, we're kind of already overstaying our welcome in this competition a little bit. We are probably the weakest team left in there. There's one or two sort of maybe on par with us a little bit, but certainly the weakest league. And I'd say on paper we probably are the weakest team, but great team spirit here, great bunch of players. We've got players who can score goals, players that can really cause teams problems. We have dropped the attacking midfielder in this game again down to a defensive midfielder. We can switch that up in the second half or later in the game if we feel we've maybe got a chance to do something there with that. They're playing, I think, a very similar, if not identical, shape. They are playing identical shape there. Alexis Sanchez, obviously, we did touch upon the squad a little bit at the end of the last episode when we had the draw. Still some very good players there. Obviously, we're a couple seasons in now, so players like Benzema, Sanchez, Cruz, who else? Ramos. They're kind of getting on, towards the end, maybe not the end of their careers, but getting quite late, into those late years of their careers, and they will have to start. Maybe that's why they're struggling in the league a little bit. They need a bit of a freshen up, and they're not quite there yet. But we'll jump into this game. We kick off shooting left to right first of all, and after 4 minutes we build from the back here. We start from the goalkeeper. Fred is a big one. He's been injured recently, but he's back in time for this game. He may not play the whole game, but he's a cut above what else we've got out there. And when we score, we nearly take the lead. But yeah, he's a cut above pretty much everything else we got in that position at the moment, so he had to play. And is that a penalty? No, it's a free kick to Real Madrid. But we've started really brightly here. Obviously, it's still early days. There's still a chance for them to work their way into the game. We're dominating that possession. The highlights do seem to be coming our way, but we do know that can change in the blink of an eye, and just takes one counter like here. Grimaldo playing very far forward there. Playing as the forward man, which is a little bit strange. Romero is through. Can he do something here? He fires a wild shot to the right-hand side of the goalkeeper's post. But we come again, and we've got Barakye playing out on the right wing today as an inside forward. Not ideally suited as an inside forward from that side, but he's good enough, and he's certainly got the attributes, and we all know he's got goals in him as well. So be keen to see how he does in this game. We've got some options on the bench, I think, if we need to change things up. But it is seeing Real Madrid here having an opportunity to come forward at us. Alexis Sanchez running, and Benzema, and it's their first attack, and against the run of play, you'd have to say they've got their away goal. So not great, but I do feel there's enough in this game for us to feel confident we can get something out of it, as long as we don't concede again. Sergio Ramos with the goal there. And we are starting to sink a little bit of out trace, and I do feel it's a little bit on the harsh side. We should have had that goal from Romero. I think it was Romero, but it wasn't to be. If we can get one back quite quickly, then we, give ourselves every opportunity. We're playing some nice stuff here. Terrible shot from Konoplyanka. Terrible shot. We win the ball back again. Konoplyanka, can he free Romero? He sort of does, but it very congested in the middle of that part there. You can see that it's very much like for like out there. They're sort of cancelling each other out. Romero, finally, we get that quick goal back 5 minutes before half time, a key vital time. So now if we can push on and do something, obviously the away leg, I'm not going to bother watching that. The away leg is a bit like the last round. We need to be prepared that we're going to have, that's a big old throw. Yeah, we're going to be prepared that that's going to be more of a struggle than the home leg. And to be fair, 2-1 doesn't do this game justice. I mean, look at the stats. Okay, you could maybe say a little bit. They brought the possession back a little bit, and I forgot to do a team talk. I double clicked. Hope something like that isn't the reason that we go on to not to not get as good a result out of this game. We've got mostly looking fine, but we've got Donetsk looking a bit frustrated there. Sergio Ramos has picked up an injury, so they brought on Inigo Martinez, but nothing is really happening. There is a highlight now. Fred gets it to Romero. Can he create something here? Romero, Biakie, and Romero gets another one. Wow, 2-2. I was literally just about to think about making the change and bringing on Barco into that attacking midfield role, maybe sacrificing a centre midfielder or a defensive midfielder, but the way we're playing, cancelling Real Madrid out a tad, and now we're back on 2-2. I don't think we need to change it. I think this is kind of working to do what we need to do here. And losing Ramos is a big loss for them. But Benzema's through. Terrible shot. He's a big loss for them. Certainly going into the second leg as well. Casemiro, he's gone off as well. I don't know if he's picked up an injury or it's a tactical change. We'll maybe take a look at that shortly after this attack. Can we get something here? Cannot be anchor wide. Do you know what? He's coming off. He's just terrible. He's playing a 6 game. What we'll do, we'll get Rodrigo on. We'll change him to an inside forward on support. We'll change that to a winger attack. We'll maybe change him. Paulinho, not great there. Perhaps maybe haven't got the player that can come on and play that position. Fred is starting to struggle. We'll maybe bring in... Does Krzyzewski fit in there? Not really. That improves things a little bit. And we'll maybe see about... We'll save the last change for Barco in case we want to go that route. 10 minutes to go. I think maybe we... Do we go for it? I think we go for it. So Barco comes in here. We'll put him to an advanced playmaker on attack. And we'll see if that can get us something. I think they've changed their shape a little bit. No, they haven't changed shape. That Casemiro sub didn't change their shape at all. And Barco, if he could have come on and done something remarkable, that would have been something. But it looks like, barring a really bad, tragic mistake here, it looks like it's going to finish 2-2. I mean, obviously, what we've got to realise as well this season, until next season at least, we're not playing at home. We're playing at a neutral venue. We're playing at our usual ground is the Donbass Arena, but obviously because of the unrest politically in Ukraine and particularly around Donetsk, that stadium has just been like wrecked and destroyed. So we're playing at Metalist's ground. So even at home, we're still a little bit against the cosh there. So we'll let the assistant take that one. It's not too bad. Didn't do too bad a job there. So obviously what we've got next. Porto beat Juventus in Turin. That is a massive result. That's unexpected, but obviously we played Porto. The second leg, the second group game, they but it seemed like they weren't completely trying, obviously having already won the group. But they were good in that first game. They were very good. Obviously we were a little bit poor as well as they were good. But 3 away goals against Juventus, that is huge in the context of that tie. So let's see. Obviously our next game is Dynamo Kiev in the league. We will come... Yeah, the league has split now. So we'll come back for that in 3 days' time, and then we've got 3 days until the following Real Madrid game. So these are going to be the next 2 episodes. The concern we've got here is we've secured our Champions League place, obviously, in the last episode, but we're on this unbeaten run still. So as much as I want to rest the players for Real Madrid, I do want to keep this unbeaten run going. So we'll have to see what we do for that Dynamo Kiev game. I want to do it just to break up the Champions League stuff. I don't want 2 back-to-back Real Madrid games. So what we'll do, we'll come back for the Dynamo Kiev game. I'm just going to hit spacebar like a maniac for the next few days, and we'll come back for that game. And next episode, obviously, in 2 days' time for you. So I'll see you then.